Hello, this is Stuart from Hear Me See Me podcast. Today I've got a wonderful guest. We appeared recently on we both spoke on a clubhouse thing with the British Beauty Council, and the story really intrigued me. So I wanted to get her on. Today I've got Helen Addis, breast cancer campaigner. How are you today?
Honestly, I am pretty good. I love my little tagline of being a breast cancer campaigner.
Yeah.
Power it's nice because I'm like at home. I'm like a mum and a thing, and I'm like, so to actually, it sounds really good. I'm a breast cancer campaigner, and I like that hat a lot.
It's funny as well, isn't it? Because you do these things in life, or we all do these things, but when people say about it, we don't really realise, because people often say that about me, about the things that I do, and you forget that you actually do anything like that, don't you?
I know.
Oh, what are they talking about?
Yeah, I know, exactly.
So there's, on the talk, I say why I particularly got hooked in that day. A really good friend of mine I've known for a long time has been battling with cancer for quite a long time, probably 15 years or something. Bless her. I won't betray her trust because no one knows I'm talking about. But she had cancer of the jaw, and she had the first person where they done this operation where they actually cut around, lifted up, took the jaw away, made jaw from leg bone, muscle was gum. Incredible, like a massive, like 14-hour operation or something.
Wow.
And she's battled, and the bravery, when you know people are going, the bravery they show, keep going back, and it's come back. And I don't know if you recognise this, but recently what's been difficult is because of COVID, keeping that treatment going, because she had a big break in the treatment. So then it came to a lung and a bowel. And recently and I'd just taken her for a treatment that day when I come on in the afternoon. So,
is that right?
Yeah.
COVID has definitely put a spanner in the works.
Yeah.
For people that are living with cancer and going through cancer treatment, but also really shockingly is that GP referrals are down 75%. So basically people aren't presenting with cancer related symptoms. So I think we're going to have a massive knock-on effect with this soon, which is why it's just so important, especially now that we all know our normal with our bodies. And if you find anything unusual, that you do go and get it checked out, whether it's a persistent cough or blood where you shouldn't be bleeding from, or lumps, rashes. It's just always worth getting it checked out. And that's kind of how I fell into what I do, is because I happened to find a lump in my boob 2.5 years ago, and my life kind of just flipped in an instant. And I don't have any family history of cancer, and for breast cancer I was young, particularly young. I was 39, and fit and well, didn't drink that much, and ate pretty well and worked out and all the rest of it. So I didn't think that would be winging its way towards me, but it did, and it was pretty aggressive. But I caught it early, and that's the most important thing. So don't let COVID be an excuse not to go to the GP. It's so important.
Yeah, and be a nuisance. You're going to have to make yourself a nuisance, because when you are going to get knocked back a little bit because of the can't see. I've had skin cancer a few times, and my sister's had it, my dad had it when he was alive. I've had bits cut out and stuff, and I've got a lump come back, and I know what it is as soon as I see it. But you know as soon as that you're going to get said, oh, we can't do this, send a photograph. I mean, recently I had piles was really playing me up, and I had to. Shit,
that's
I had to have a phone call at all, and I had to describe it to the doctor.
Oh, you didn't have to take a picture, did you?
Well, that's what I thought. No, I'm not doing that.
Give me the cream, Doc. Give me the cream. Oh, it's awful, isn't it?
Because of my history, I was a little bit worried, because I thought, and I did have my PSA levels checked a while ago, and they said we've got to keep an eye on it. So obviously you know. But I know I've got off this track a bit, but it's the surrealness at the moment of the situation, and that was just a minor thing. So if you've got something really important, it's crucial that and if you get turned down, you've got to keep saying, no, I really want to get this looked at.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it means seeing and speaking to a different GP, or I think it's just so important. And with mine, when I found my lump, I saw the GP, who agreed with me that she said it was likely to be hormonal, which is what I thought it was. She said, because you're too young and it's not in your family. She said, but let's see the consultant anyway. So 2 weeks later, I was in front of a breast consultant, and in that 2 weeks, another 4 lumps had grown. So I thought, well, it must be hormonal, because cancer doesn't do that, does it? Well, apparently it does. So the type that I had. So I feel like I just don't think I'll ever stop banging on about it to other people now.
No, you can't. My dad, when my dad was alive, he had a long history of heart problems, but he died of leukemia. But they didn't.
Is that right? Right, okay.
They didn't get the leukemia, which became very aggressive, because every time we went to the doctor, and all they focused on, they sort of tunnel vision on the heart problems, and then they was. Right. And I kept going with him in the end, because he wouldn't speak, you know, at their generation, oh yeah, I'm fine. You go, no, you're not fine. So I just go, no, Dad, you're not fine, you know. And it was a case of, and then the doctor said, well, he is 71, you know, and he is. And I go, you don't know him, you know, it worked me, you know, there's something definitely wrong with him. And I think that's a crucial thing of really pushing to get the right people in front of you.
So with his sort of fatigue levels, and breathlessness and that sort of thing, right?
They kept saying, because he had this enlarged heart problem, and I said, well, he's going to get right. So that was the, you know, and that's be careful of, you know, like if they're focusing on one thing, make sure everything else is explored. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you got,
So frightening, really. Day, you spoke about the C list, which I thought was a fantastic idea.
So what happened to me when I had my diagnosis, my oncology team, so my medical team, said to me, so you're going to have a mastectomy next week, so lose a boob in 5 days, right? You're going to go straight onto chemo, 16 rounds of chemo, so you're going to lose your hair, you may lose fingernails, and you need to rethink your bathroom cabinet and your makeup bag, because your skin's going to become extremely sensitive. And I thought, talk about twist the knife, like you're taking the boob, taking the hair, and now like I can't even put a bit of like uplifting mascara on or something to make me feel a little bit better. So I went off to my high street to find my new products that I had to use, and I was looking in the shop, and I picked up a shampoo. I was looking at the back of it, and I thought, I don't know if I can use this or not. So I said to the woman in there, see this shampoo, I'm about to go on chemo, do you know if I can use it? And I had my 3 kids with me. And she said, oh, I don't know, let's go and speak to the manager. So we went over to the manager, and she was like, this woman's got cancer, do you know if she can use this? And I thought, my God, you know what? I'm not a bloody alien. Like, she meant well. I know she meant well. She was trying to help me. I know she was. But when I was in that shop, if I was vegan, I would know exactly where to go for a vegan product. 1 in 100 people in this country apparently are vegan. The aisles are all adorned with vegan this, vegan that. If you got cancer, 1 in 2 people get cancer, but there's no signposting, and it's still all this, she's the one with cancer. And I know at the school gates, you know, with my kids, I was with cancer. I heard it. Yeah. And I think that people are scared to kind of, I don't know, open their arms out to try and help support, in terms of, like, I guess brands are nervous about saying you'll be absolutely fine to a community of people who are at their most vulnerable, probably. Yeah. Anyway, so the reason that the C list came about was I was talking to my good friend Lisa Potter Dixon, who's a makeup artist, a fantastic makeup artist. Yeah. And I was telling her my story, and we both said, well, hang on, let's make a list. Let's just pull together a list of the products that have either been recommended by other cancer patients, or that come from trusted brands that assure us that they've checked in-house with their in-house biochemists, people, that these products are going to be okay. So we've pulled together a list, and I've ended up turning it into a website because I wanted it to be more than a shoppable site. I wanted it to become a bit like the Goop, but for the cancer world. Right. Not without the fanny candles, obviously, but I wanted there to be like videos on how to fill in your eyebrows or how to tie a headscarf if you're losing your hair. I share my story on how I told my kids, just because I just wanted to create this place where, I don't know, maybe it felt a bit empowering to people.
Yeah.
So we've been up live for just over 4 weeks now, and so far it's going really well. And then so the profits that I make, I get a small kickback. They're like affiliate links to these products. And so I get a very small kickback on each purchase, and I use those profits to gift somebody going through cancer treatment. Right. So 2 weeks ago, I phoned up, I picked at random. Her name's Jane. She's halfway through bowel cancer treatment. She's in her 50s. She was feeling pretty crappy. And I sent her a whole heap of amazing beauty products, and she was happy as Larry. So that's kind of what I'm doing, sort of like, like this cycle that I do in my spare time.
And how are you now? How is your?
So I finished treatment about a year ago, and do you know what? I feel really good. I feel like I've got my energy levels almost back. My hair's grown back, and I feel pretty good. So I'm scanned. I had a scan last Friday. I get the results later on today. It's just an MRI that I had, and so it's like routine scans. And you always get a bit of anxiety around that. Yeah. People say to me, but you could walk out and get hit by a bus tomorrow. I'm like, but that bloody bus has come to me once already. So so let me be a little bit anxious about it. I'm good, thank you. I'm good, and I'm able to put a lot of my energy into the C list and into my day job, and kind of feel like life's sort of getting back on track a little bit for me.
Yeah, because I think there's that thing of when you go for anything, I think the physical healing is quicker than the mental healing, and then do you find that 100%. Keeping yourself busy is the antidote to that?
Absolutely. So when I finished my last round of treatment, I felt really unnerved because all of a sudden I didn't have that medical team around me, and I was used to going into hospital every week and people taking my bloods and scanning me and checking me and giving me all these hardcore medicines. Then all of a sudden, nothing. And it was like, did that just happen? Did those last 18 months just happen? Like and I felt strange, and then the PTSD well and truly kicked in, and I was on a roller coaster of emotions for a long time. But by focusing in and keeping myself busy, it helps keep my head out of that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. You said it's PTSD. So the PTSD is regarding the
diagnosis.
The diagnosis,
the
treatment. Yeah. And that's interesting. I think people, this is when they underestimate the effect of something like this.
Yeah.
The trauma.
Yeah.
Something like PTSD.
Well, if somebody was in a fatal car, a near fatal car accident.
Yeah.
It would be recognised that you might suffer PTSD from that traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Being given a cancer diagnosis and not knowing for weeks on end whether it is riddled through your body or not, and whether we're going to be able to fix this, it was kind of the same effect in a way. So I definitely did. I would say I definitely suffered PTSD. I was having flashbacks, horrible dream anxiety, just really like feeling, is it coming for me again? And every single niggle, ache and pain, I was thinking, oh my God, I got knee cancer. Then one minute I thought I had bum cancer. I was like everything.
Hemorrhoids.
Exactly. That would have tipped me right over the edge if I got hemorrhoids.
To be honest, that was where my head went straight away. I was going through a bit of a bad time mentally, and my head went straight there. Oh, it's because I've not been seeing the doctor, and they've forgotten about me, and now I've got this. You know.
Yeah.
All about me. Sorry, go on, carry on.
No. So I just, it just helps to keep.
Yeah.
And also to turn have something positive that's come out of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to it being, oh, woe is me, that I went through that. But don't get me wrong, everybody deals with it differently, and some people don't like to talk about their experiences, and that's fine. It's everybody's way of dealing with it and coping with it. I'm not saying that my way is right. It's just the way that works for me.
Yeah. It's that thing of finding the thing that works for you.
Exactly.
Not sort of forcing it onto someone else.
Yeah, no, because lots of people do say to me, God, how can you keep sort of talking about it and reliving it? And, and lots of people just say to me, they just want to put it in a box and pretend it never happened.
Yeah.
Totally get that. And in a way, maybe I wish that I could do that, but I just can't. It doesn't stay in the box, unfortunately.
No.
I ain't got a big enough box.
No, I found it interesting because when I started doing the podcast, it was really going to be all about the homelessness and stuff like that, but it keeps going off on tangents. I find these really interesting people, and then it goes off. And early last year, because of the lockdown, there's figures of domestic violence had increased so much, and I done a little run of I'm sorry, I've got man flu. I've got
don't worry.
A cup of tea and mixed tissues, because you know how deadly it is when a man gets a cold. We're talking about something. I don't know if it's as very as serious as man flu, but I've just digressed. I was talking about domestic violence, and the thing is particularly I've done a little run for a week. I've done a podcast every day for a week, and these amazing, brave women and men. Who, quite a high statistic of men have to go through that as well. But particularly Jodie Keegan's, and she came on, but when she tells you her story, she relives the story. And I think but to her, like someone else might think, how can you keep reliving that story? And hers is so horrific that her perpetrator got 18 years in prison. So that's the level of I know, it's unheard of. So that's her story is, inspiring. And, but I could see that it's cathartic. It's that every time I tell this story, I get stronger. And I think that's sometimes what
Yeah. Absolutely. Of how to lift story and take comfort from it, or take courage from it to question their own situations and maybe feel like they can reach out, and do what she's done. Like, she's lived to tell the tale. And domestic violence at the moment, I know the figures are through the roof. I'll be interested to listen to that.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman. So tell me about the Titty Gritty.
So the Titty Gritty, so that's my Instagram handle, at the Titty Gritty, and that came about obviously because I was going through my treatment, and when I was going through chemo, each week I would bring a different friend or group of friends with me, and I did a thing called Come Dine With Me, where I would judge them on the snacks that they brought me, if they brought me a gift, how much gossip they brought me, and basically just overall entertainment value of that group of friends. And one thing I would always ask them is, do you check yourself? And I would honestly say about 90% of them said, oh, no, I don't. I wouldn't know what I'm looking for. I don't know how to check. And it horrified me, because I knew if it can happen to me, it could happen to you. So that's why I'm going to start banging on about it on Instagram. So I do lots of talks like you do. I speak to lots of other people going through going through various different cancers, not just breast, although I have focused on that mainly at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I started a campaign which is called the Change and Check campaign. So when I found my lump, I was stood in front of a mirror. So I thought, right, I'm going to come up with a sticker that goes on changing room mirrors in shops and in gyms. So I created this. It looks like that. So it shows you the top 9 symptoms of breast cancer.
Yeah.
And it basically says, in the time it takes you to try on your top, you could check yourself for signs of breast cancer. So I had like John Lewis, David Lloyd, Monsoon, Ted Baker, M&Co. So many different outlets took it on nationwide. And since I launched it, I've had 48 women contact me to say that they've found their breast cancer early as a result of seeing the sticker. Now, that's 48 women that I know about. There might be more. Men also get breast cancer, but I haven't had any men contact me. But 48 women have contacted me. And it just shows that kind of repetition, it works, you know. So that's how the Titty Gritty came about, and the Change and Check campaign.
I think that's amazing, because it's often these simple little things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Particularly with the saying people aren't getting checked and they're not going to be able to go to their doctor. Simple thing like that. 48 people at least, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so chuffed. And the problem as well with last year, obviously shops are closed, so and gyms are closed mostly, so there's no changing rooms open. That's what I'm trying to say. So I was thinking, how on earth do I keep the message going when changing rooms aren't open? So apart from doing the social media, I thought, what about people that aren't on social media? I know, I'm going to speak to the Royal Mail. So I picked up the phone, and if you don't ask, you don't get, right? So I called the Royal Mail. And I said, is there any way I could have a bespoke stamp, you know, like how you buy fancy Christmas stamps, you know, like with advent stamps or whatever. I said, could I have one for breast cancer, but with the Queen's head with a pair of boobs on her? And they were like, it has to go via the royal household, dear. I don't think she'll approve. So I said, all right, what about a postmark? They only went and said yes. It took them 2 weeks to deliberate it, but they came back and they said yes. So for the whole of October last year, every single parcel and letter that was sent in the UK had a Change and Check breast cancer awareness stamp on every single letter. That's tens of millions. So I was dead chuffed about that.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I love that as well, isn't it? It's about action, isn't it? It's like, if you don't ask, you don't get. Like,
if you don't,
say no.
Yeah, you don't. It's Exactly. So that thing I've learned actually through my diagnosis, like just ask, and I do sometimes pay the well, you know, because that helps get people talking or people on or whatever. But anything that will, you know, help the cause, and I'm in.
Fantastic. I think you know, because there's a lot going on at the moment. I'm watching Bake Off, you know, Stand Up to Cancer Bake Off.
I love it. Yeah.
You know, but those stories they put in, all of a sudden you're having a great time watching, you know, a great program, but then they hit you with those stories, don't they? And as you said about yours with the lumps that come up, there was a guy on there,
oh my God,
I think the other night, and it was so quick. You know, it literally was so, I think it was his lymph nodes, and then you saw all these like lumps, you know, and it's so scary for people, you know.
It really is, and it affects all ages. It's not just for old people, you know, and that's yeah.
So on a positive note, people like need to get checked, need to get in early. But also, it's that thing of moving the stigma away. You know that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because what I love about with your Instagram and stuff like that, it makes it very open and you know, breaks down the barriers and makes people feel uncomfortable. I mean.
Yeah. No, I think that's really important, and also with regards to the C list. so many, I really want to get the message across that it's important to men and women that we still look and feel as good as we possibly can when we're going through the eye of a cancer storm. And it really bugged me when some of my medical team were like, can you just not worry about your hair? You know, we're keeping you alive at the moment.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I was super grateful to be that. But also my kids were like, are you taking us to school today? And I literally looked like death warmed up.
Yeah.
So it was important to me and my family that I tried my best to look and feel and to make myself feel good. So, you know, if that came with, you know, getting my hair done or using products or having a treatment, which actually that was impossible because so many places won't give you a treatment if you're going through cancer, which is a nightmare. But yeah, I just don't want people to think that it's like really superficial, that, you know, you really care so much about what you're looking like. But it makes such a difference to how you feel.
Yeah, I think I can really, I mean, that's why I understood immediately you said it, because of what we do with haircuts. You know, we always get that. We get, you know, you probably get it, people are, well, at least you've got to worry about is that because you're on, you know, like you're a life changing situation. Yeah. But we have...
Well, it's the same with the homeless.
Yeah. Yeah, it's they
isn't
you know,
it? Because arguably they're saying, you know, you could say the least you need to worry about is your haircut. You need to get off the street.
Yeah.
That's not, you know, it's all like a package thing that needs to come together. And yeah, when you said actually in that clubhouse thing that we did about how emotional some of your clients, do you call them clients, that your clients are, you know, when you go and you cut their hair, and how different they feel. Oh my God, it really choked me up because I can just imagine from their point of view, just to be physically touched and cared for like that. It really got me, because the touch, isn't it? It's amazing. It's, yeah.
I mean, there's times when, you know, we are moved to tears, you know, like, but there's these preconceived ideas that people have with cancer, with homelessness, and they sort of say, well, I suppose you just cut all their hair off, or I suppose, you know, they should. The one that really gets me is, and I know they don't mean it bad, but they should be grateful. If someone, I treat my homeless customers, guests, clients, the same as I would in a salon, as much as possible. Now, they've got the right to like their haircut or quickly tell me they don't. You know, they've got as much right as you or I to you know, and they do sometimes, you know, and they go, cool, mate, no, can you blend that in a bit more? And
but you're a professional and you want,
yeah.
But you don't mind that, I'm sure, do you?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I've been the odd one, because sometimes they don't put it across very well. I've had to, you know, sometimes when they've been a little bit under the influence of something, they may have, and I've had to like put them, you know, remind them.
But I bet that hasn't happened that much.
It's very rare. It is so rare.
And do they get a hair wash and everything else, and a head massage? And
we do it where we can. So there's some places where they've got shower facilities, and they can go and get a shower and then come to us. Sometimes it literally is straight from being out all night, and we've only got a water spray. You know, I've had instances where it's been so matted that I couldn't even get home in it, and I've had to sort of like just sort of cut as best I can. But yeah, I had a lady at Southend, bless her. It was so matted, she was so upset, she's gonna have to shave my head. And I said, well, just let me try. And I spent an hour, and I got loads of spray conditioner, leave-in products, and I was combing. And in the end, I managed to do a nice little bob. And she managed to comb it all through. We lost, you know, got this lovely little bob going. And she was so pleased. She was so over the moon. Then she pulled her woolly hat back on and went. Oh, it took me a bloody hour to do that. But
You've got to laugh.
it's lovely.
Oh,
I love all that stuff, you know, because it's
it's just amazing.
yeah.
So, how many places are your that you do this? Nationwide?
Yeah. I started on my own, and we had I just done on my own in Romford, and then quickly people come and help me, and then it grew. In 2014, and now we've got 67 across the UK and Ireland. We've got over 600 volunteers, and we've done over 40,000 haircuts. And it's just grown by, you know, the hairdressing industry, the beauty industry. As you know, the minute you start to do something that's really connects with people, as you found out with the C-list, things like people just want to help.
They do.
It's such a big industry, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And the difference that you will have made to those 40,000 people is phenomenal.
But I mean, I can't thank enough, like as well, like the British Beauty Council, because that was where we met on that talk. They've done so much. They've done so much good, you know, for our industry that's really been decimated the last year or so. You know, and it's worrying because it's what's going to come now. You know, because you know you're going to have the aftermath of this. People aren't really, I mean, they're really aware of it yet. Of you know, already we're seeing like the other day, Thornton's going to shut all their shops and all these things. It's going to take some time.
I think it's going to take
years and years. Yeah, but I'm not going to end it on that. That's a bit depressing, isn't it?
No, no, let's definitely not do that. Let me tell you a funny story. So when I was going through treatment and telling my kids was really tricky because they were only 5, 7 and 9 at the time, and I learned very quickly that I had to the sort of cancer conversation had to just become part of our household, because they were getting quite upset when I was on the phone to doctors behind closed doors and stuff. They really knew that something sort of big was up, basically. Anyway, one day I was going through my daughter's book bag, I remember, and my prosthetic boob was in her school bag. She had taken it to school for a show and tell, because I didn't use it every day. I only put it in if I was going out that day. So I didn't even know it had gone missing. And she had taken it to school.
Brilliant. That's fantastic.
Well, a teacher saying, "I'm really sorry that my boob came into school today." Like,
you got to love.
I'm never going to let her live that down. You do, but then I think, how many of those like snotty little kids have been like handling it? Like, so I think give it a good old scrub afterwards.
The boys have been going on it.
Yeah.
Or give us a go. I remember, like, my daughter, like, when my dad passed away eventually, one day, you know, he died, and then a few days after he died, something come on the telly or something, probably Scottish, because my dad was a Scot, and I just started crying. And my daughter, who's 23, she's only little, she got to me and, "Oh, what's the matter, Dad? Has Granddad died again?" And you know, just love it, don't you? Like, he's died again. It's like, they're just
the stuff they come out with. When I was halfway through chemo, unfortunately, I lost my mum halfway through my treatment, and I had to delay my treatment so that we could have her funeral. And I took the kids, and we were at the crematorium to that. And then that evening, like, I was obviously beside myself. I put my kids to bed, and my youngest said to me, "So where does that box go? And was Grandma actually in that box?" And I was like, yeah, I think she's in the box. And they were like, but where does it go? And then I stupidly said that it all gets burned. Their question to me was, what burns? Do her eyeballs burn first, or her head? Like, I can't. You have to laugh. It's those situations that get you through it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. The stuff they come out with. Anyway.
Yes. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put all the links on.
Okay.
Amazing what you do. I love the C list. I just love the C list. I think the idea that people then can go straight to something and find out what they need to use. So, you know, thanks, Helen. I think you've, oh no, you've just unfrozen. That's wonderful. Just at the right time, it's just starting to freeze. I'll keep in touch. Let me know anything I can do. Hopefully we can team up at some point with everything we do. Helen, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, you hang up.